3 a.m., you were asleep, deeply asleep, and then for no obvious reason you're awake, no alarm, no noise, no one called you, you just opened your eyes, and now you're lying there, staring at the ceiling, mind starting to spin, body tired, but wide awake. You need to know that falling back asleep is going to take forever. This happens to you regularly, maybe every night, maybe a few times a week. Always around the same time. Always that same strange, heavy 3 a.m. feeling. And you've always assumed it was just bad luck, poor sleep, stress. Get older. But it's none of those things. Your brain woke you up on purpose. And it did it for a very specific reason. One that most people never discover because they're too busy staring at the ceiling, wondering what's wrong with them. Today you're going to find out exactly why it happens. Your brain is actually doing at 3 a.m. and 5 things you can do to finally sleep through the night. Let's get into it. The reframe 45-230. First, let's understand what sleep actually is. Most people think of sleep as one long continuous state. You close your eyes, you're out, you wake up 8 hours later. But that's not how it works. Sleep happens in cycles. Each cycle lasts roughly 90 minutes. And within each cycle, your brain moves through different stages. Light sleep, deep sleep, and REM sleep. The early part of the night, the first 3 to 4 hours, your brain prioritizes deep sleep. This is the restorative phase, the stage where your body repairs itself, your immune system strengthens, and your brain consolidates the day's memories. But in the second half of the night, after about 3 to 4 a.m., the cycle shifts, deep sleep becomes shorter, REM sleep becomes longer, and REM sleep is lighter, more active, closer to waking. Which means around 3 a.m., you are naturally in your lightest sleep of the entire night. Your brain is closer to consciousness than at any other point, and that means anything internal or external that would normally keep you asleep can now push you over the edge into waking. That's the biology. But here's where it gets interesting, because for most people, it's not random. It's not bad luck. Something specific is triggering that crossing point. Something your brain has been holding all day and can no longer hold at 3 a.m. And there are 5 specific triggers that cause this. 5 things your brain is trying to tell you when it wakes you at 3 in the morning. Triggers 2:30, 6:15. The trigger one, your cortisol is spiking too early. 2:30, 3:15. Cortisol is your body's primary wake-up hormone. Under normal conditions, cortisol begins rising gradually around 4 to 5 a.m., preparing your body to wake up naturally at your usual time. But when you're under chronic stress, when your body has been in a low-level threat state for days, weeks, or months, that cortisol spike starts earlier. Sometimes as early as 2 or 3 a.m., your body thinks it needs to be alert, so it starts the wake-up process hours before it should. The result? You snap awake at 3 a.m. feeling oddly alert, heart beating slightly faster than normal, mind immediately active, impossible to settle back down. That's not insomnia. That's your stress response running ahead of schedule. What your brain is telling you, your baseline stress level is too high. Not just today chronically, and your nervous system is treating rest as a luxury it can't afford. The fix before sleep, write down everything on your mind. Every worry, every task, every unresolved thought. Get it out of your head and onto paper signals your brain that the information is stored. It doesn't need to hold it on alert anymore. Cortisol has less reason to spike early. Trigger 2. Your blood sugar dropped 315, 355. This one surprises people. They don't know. But it's one of the most common causes of middle of the night waking and almost nobody talks about it. When your blood sugar drops too low during the night, your body releases adrenaline and cortisol to bring it back up. These are stimulating hormones, alerting hormones. The same ones that wake you up in the morning, and they work exactly as designed. They wake you up at 3 a.m. This is especially common if you ate dinner early, skipped a meal, drank alcohol in the evening, which causes blood sugar to drop several hours later, or ate a high sugar meal that spiked and then crashed your glucose before morning. What your brain is telling you, your body ran out of fuel mid-sleep, and it hit the alarm. The fix, a small, slow-release snack before bed, something with both protein and complex carbohydrate. A small handful of nuts, a piece of whole grain toast, a spoonful of nut butter, nothing large. Just enough to give your body a steady fuel source through the night. Blood sugar stays stable, adrenaline stays quiet, you stay asleep. Trigger 3, your emotional brain is unfinished, 3:55, 4:45, during REM sleep, which dominates the second half of the night. Your brain does something very specific. It processes emotions, it takes the emotional weight of the day's experiences and works through them, replaying them, reframing them, reducing their charge. This is one of the most important functions of sleep. It's why you often feel calmer about something after sleeping on it. The emotional load is too heavy, when there is too much unprocessed stress, grief, anxiety, or conflict, the brain can't finish the processing quietly. It surfaces. It pushes into consciousness. You wake up at 3 a.m. with a feeling you can't quite name, a heaviness, a low-grade dread. As sometimes a specific worry front and center, sometimes just a vague sense that something is wrong. That's not a dream. That's your emotional brain mid-process, and it pulled you up to the surface with it. What your brain is telling you, there is something emotional you haven't fully dealt with. Something you've been pushing through, ignoring, or suppressing during the day. And at 3 a.m. when the defenses are down, it comes up. The fix, acknowledge it. When you wake at 3 a.m. with that heavy feeling, don't fight it. Don't check your phone. Don't distract yourself. Instead, ask, what is this feeling? Where is it coming from? Give it 60 seconds of honest acknowledgement. You don't need to solve it. You just need to let your brain know it's been seen. Often that's enough for the process to complete and sleep to return. RGP Orzos 50. You are 45,525. Your brain is exquisitely sensitive to environmental signals during the light REM phase at 3 a.m. temperature, light, sound, all of it becomes relevant in a way it simply wasn't during the deep sleep of the early night. A room that's too warm is one of the most common hidden causes of 3 a.m. waking. Your core body temperature naturally drops during sleep, and a warm room fights that process, pulling you toward waking. Creeping in from streetlights, electronics, or early morning dawn hits your eyes, even through closed lids, suppressing melatonin and triggering wakefulness. Sounds that you slept through easily at 10 p.m. A car, a phone buzz, a partner shifting become enough to break the surface of light REM sleep at 3 a.m. What your brain is telling you, the conditions for sleep have deteriorated, and in light REM, the brain can't compensate anymore. The fix: cool your room to 6568F1820C, the scientifically optimal range for sleep. Use blackout curtains or a sleep mask to block all light. Use earplugs or a white noise machine to mask disruptive sounds. These aren't luxuries. They are the conditions your brain needs to stay in REM sleep instead of breaking out of it. Trigger 5. Your mind has unfinished business. 525, 615. This is the most common trigger of all, and the most overlooked. Your brain is a problem-solving machine, and it never fully stops working even in sleep. During the day, you have endless distraction, tasks, conversations, inputs. Your brain stays occupied and the unresolved problems stay in the background. But at 3 a.m., the distractions are gone. The brain is in its lightest sleep. The prefrontal cortex, your rational planning brain, starts becoming active again. As REM deepens and it finds the unresolved items, the decision you haven't made, the conversation you haven't had, the problem you haven't solved, the thing you've been avoiding, and it wakes you up to work on them. Your brain is telling you there is something unresolved that your brain considers important enough to interrupt sleep for. It wants your attention, not tomorrow. Now, the fix: keep a notepad beside your bed. The moment you wake at 3 a.m. with a spinning mind, write it down. Every thought, every worry, every unresolved item, just getting it onto paper removes the brain's need to hold it active. You're telling your brain it's recorded. We don't need to stay awake for this. Now, most people find they fall back asleep within minutes of doing this because the brain's job is done. Wrap up 6:15, 7 o'clock. So let's come back to 3 a.m. You opened your eyes. No reason, just awake. Now you know why your cortisol spiked too early. Your blood sugar dropped. Your emotional brain surfaced something unfinished. Your environment stopped supporting sleep, or your problem-solving brain found something it couldn't leave alone until morning. None of that is bad luck. None of it is just how you are. Every single one of those triggers has a fix. Get a real biology-based fix that works with your brain instead of against it. Write things down before bed, eat a small snack, acknowledge the emotion, cool the room, and when you wake, write it down instead of fighting it. Your brain isn't broken at 3 a.m. It's communicating. And now, for the first time, you know how to listen. Call to action 7:20. If this finally explains something you've wondered about for years, don't just move on, subscribe, because every video on this channel is designed to give you the understanding your brain actually needs. Comment below 3 a.m. if this is you. I read every single one because you deserve to sleep through the night, and now you know how end of script